I played 100 Days of Terraria's Minecraft edition. I don't know why I did that, but I just played. The reason I said Minecraft Terraria is because I used the resource pack which is known as Meltzer's Minecraft Texture Pack. Basically, this pack turns Terraria into 2D Minecraft. So yeah, I legitimately suck at Terraria. You see, progression in Terraria is mainly done by defeating bosses, and the last time I remember playing, I defeated the golem, and after the golem, I abandoned the series because I was done. So now you know why the channel only has build videos. Anyways, let's advance towards the goals. I have some personal goals going on I want to achieve. Number 1 is to defeat the Moon Lord. Number 2 is to try and collect every single boss trophy there is. Bosses have a very small chance to drop these, so this will be painful. Number 3 is to craft the Zenith. Zenith is the most OP item in the game and it requires 10 different swords in total. So yeah, these goals are not gonna be easy. This video took over 3 months to put together, so I will highly appreciate if you watch the whole thing and like, share and subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, these are my 100 days in Terraria. Day 1. As I spawned in, I was so excited to see the guide as the villager, and afterwards I started to chop trees to get wood. Now that I had wood, I began setting up a little box for shelter. This is temporary, okay? Don't judge me. After building the shoebox, I began exploring the left side of my world, where I found this chest. And then went to mine some ore but died. So I decided to explore the right side of my world, and while killing a slime, I got this. The Slime Staff. The Slime Staff has a 1 in 10,000 chance to drop upon killing a slime. I've never gotten this before, so I was happy. Day 2. Now that I have 50 silver in my inventory, the merchant NPC moved in. I wanted to buy the mining helmet, but I was bankrupt, so I went exploring and found a living tree. Just below the living tree, there was a golden chest which had the Hermes boots in it. Finally, I can run. Day 3. I added 2 more rooms to my base. I also found the most amazing thing in the game. Upon reaching the snow biome, I began exploring the underground snow biome and found the summoning item for the Eye of Cthulhu. Back at base, there was a blood moon, so I spent the night farming zombies and stealing their money. Day 4, I bought the mining helmet from the merchant and started to work on arena to beat the eye. At night, I summoned the Eye of Cthulhu. It was a very easy battle and eventually I slayed the boxy eye. Day 5, I went exploring and found a granite biome which was entirely resprited. At night, I expanded my base. Day 6, I went for the Eater of Worlds, but I died because I'm stupid and I didn't prepare at all. I was not happy, so I installed the pack and adopted a cute little axolotl. I think I'ma name you Yonka. By the way, the link to the pack is in the description, you can check it out for yourself. Now that I had Yonka on my side, on day 7, I decided to go for the worm once more. Yay, in your face. Back at base, I upgraded my armor and tools from the Demonite ore I just got. I spent the rest of the day clearing out the basement area. And on day 8, I finally finished it. Later, I went to the underground jungle to explore a bit and found a beehive. I got excited and summoned Queen Bee, and it was totally a bad idea. The fight went decent, but I died. Day 9, pillagers aka goblins invaded my home, so I kicked their faces with a yo-yo. After the raid, I went to look for a meteorite as one just landed and began mining it. At night, I made a whole set of space armor and the space gun. Now that I had good gear, I went to the dungeon and spawned in Skeletron. The fight was a bit tough as I nearly died 2 times, but I killed him. Yay! Day 10, I went to the dungeon and died, so I decided to add a fishing area under my base instead. Day 11 was a rather painful day because I literally spent the entire day filling up the dang pond. I'm not sure what was I thinking at the time, and I didn't even realize what was being done. After the painful day, I was rewarded by a hat from Dr. Bones. Sweet, I look good. Also, I found the Goblin Tinkerer, you money eater. Day 12 I farmed some ice to get the trophy but sadly had no luck. I also took out King Slime and I have to say he looks hella cool. Day 13 I did some fishing in the oasis. I could barely see anything then had dirt in my eyes, but I fished. That is how Terraria works. I bought the rocket boots from the goblin and then upgraded my boots to spectre boots. Day 14 I found a mushroom biome and also somehow survived a boulder. Is that even possible? I'm not sure. While exploring, a track led me to a snow biome where I found this fur ball thing. This is definitely new, I've never seen this before. Day 15 I went to the underground desert to try my luck and get my hands on the bass statue. The bass statue is a pretty cool item that gives you plus 5 defense when nearby, so it's a perfect item to have in your arena. I also found a golfer who was sleeping on a cactus. You alright, bro? He's fine. Day 16 I finally got what I wanted, so that was cool. Day 17 I drank a gravitation potion and looted several sky islands and got the Star Fury and some wings. Back at base I made the lightning boots to run even faster. At night I slayed the queen bee. Day 18 I mined some obsidian and reached hell, where a blaze dropped in obsidian rose. Melster, I need an explanation. Oh, it's just a voodoo imp. Okay. Back at base I decided to set up a cavern base to set up a pylon system. At night I killed the Eye of Cthulhu and finally it dropped a trophy, so that was awesome. Also, my doggo has arrived. Meet Charlie. After the NPCs moved in, I bought the cavern pylon from the tavern keep. Day 19 I made a tundra base and it took most of the day to finish it. I spent the rest of the night working on my elevator. Day 20 I worked on my jungle base. I made a miniature castle design and at night I bought the jungle pylon from the dryad. Day 21 I drank the obsidian skin potion and went to mine some hellstone. Back at base I made molten gear. Day 22 I set it up a little platform to take out the wall of flesh and enter hard mode. I was not fully prepared for it, but meh. The fight was a total headache. I took out most of its health, but the platform I built was not long enough. I know I'm stupid. And after a lot of problems, I defeated the fleshy wall. And this, my friends, is the beginning of hard mode. At the night of day 22, I made an ocean base. Day 23, I went to the underground snow biome to try and get my hands on the Amarok. Now that I am in hard mode, all my previous weapons are pretty much worthless, so I need a stronger weapon and eventually a bad dropped it, so that was cool. At night, I worked on adding some clay to my jungle elevator. Day 24, I found the king slime for his trophy and got it. Let's go. Later, I began setting up an arena for the deer clubs. I recently learned about it that apparently Terraria had a new update with Don't Starve Together, and now it has a new boss. The fighting experience was pretty fun, cool addition I'd say. I dropped a head and a sentry. I look stupid. At night I went to farm some souls where I found the warden. I literally screamed, I was so amazed, and upon killing it, I realized it was the stone golem. Pretty cool, I'd say. Day 25 I made the palladium pickaxe and spent the rest of the day in fishing. Day 26 I again went to farm some souls and at night I fished. I went to the underground hollow aka the end to farm souls, and while exploring, I found 2 end crystals, which is the summoning item for the queen slime. Day 28, I improved my arena by adding planters and spent the rest of the day in getting mahogany wood because now is the time I finally want to work on my ultimate tree house. At night, I started to sketch a rough outline for the tree. Day 29, as I completed the outline, there was an illager raid, so I took it out. Now that I was in hard mode, Goblin Army had Vexes. These are such a cool addition in this resource pack, but they are super annoying. I spent the rest of the day working on the treehouse. Day 30, I went to the jungle to get some mahogany wood as I ran out of it, and spent the rest of the day in adding leaf walls in my base. At night, there was a blood moon, so the destroyer woke up. I tried, but I died. Day 31, I killed a traveling merchant to get his hat, and I nearly killed my doggo. I somehow saved him, but I died in the process, and the zoologist was on fire. Actually, no one cares. Damn, I look good. At night, I was done placing walls and completed the structure of my base. I also killed 2 hollow mimics, aka the shulkers, to get the Daedalus stone bow. And the second mimic I killed dropped it, so that was pretty cool. Day 32, I went to set up a hollow biome because I needed the fairy dust and the unicorn horns to make holy arrows. I also built an arena for the queen slime. Later, I went to the underground to mine adamantite. Also, I lost the footage of rest of day 32 and 33. I'm sorry. I basically mined adamantite and did some other things, nothing more than that. Day 34, I killed a mimic and it dropped the star cloak. By wearing the star cloak, whenever you get damaged, stars fall from the sky and they hit nearby enemies. Later, I bought this Sergeant United shield for 35 gold from the traveling merchant. I feel like Captain America. This is such a fun weapon, it will be super helpful to take on all the bosses. Day 35, I spawned in Queen Slime. The fight was tough and fun at the same time. Also, the fight had a lot of interruptions. First, I was interrupted by King Slime, and this has to be the biggest coincidence ever. Having both the King Slime and the Queen Slime in one frame is just epic. The second interruption was the blood moon. Just as I was done with her, there was a blood moon, but I didn't lose hope and I slayed her. And she dropped the Queen Slime mount. Also, while farming enemies, a unicorn dropped the enchanted chorus fruit, which spawns a unicorn mount. First I had 0 mounts and now immediately I have 2. How cool is that? And apparently the horse is also resprited and I absolutely love it. I think I'll call you Scoops. Scoops. Day 36, I again spawned in Queen Slime and she dropped a summon staff which spawns daggers. Woohoo! At the night of day 36, I spawned in the Destroyer, who is the mechanical counterpart of the Eater of Worlds. After dying on the first try, I killed him on the second attempt, so that was cool. And the best part was that he dropped a trophy. Thank you, Mechanical Worm, you shall be remembered. Day 37, I made a couple of item frames and rearranged my storage system to make it less crappy. At night, I went to the ocean to get some shark fins to make the Mega Shark. The Mega Shark requires a couple of things, but once you have it, mech bosses are no longer a problem. Day 38, I made the Mega Shark and after reforging it to Godly, at night I took out the twins. The twins are basically 2 eyes, one shoots lasers and the other shoots flames. Both of them have 2 phases. The fight was going well, but once the green eye was in the second phase, its attack was pretty difficult to dodge because of my overpowered wings, I'd say. My wings weren't good enough and I couldn't dodge the flame attacks, so I died. After respawning, I went to the jungle and bought the leaf wings from the witch doctor. And then again, I went for the twins. This time I had no problem at all. I also got the Retinator trophy. Day 39, there was again an illager raid. Again. So me and Scoops took care of it. Afterwards, I went to Heck, to summon the Wall of Flesh because I needed its trophy. And the best part was, I got it. Back at base, I bought the bunny license. We're gonna have a quick little bunny. At night, I spawned in Skeletron Prime. Skeleton Prime is the mechanical counterpart of the dungeon boss. He has 4 arms, First I took out the arms and then I went for the skull. The fight was a bit hard, but I slayed him. The mechanical bosses were down and the jungle was now going crazy, as a monster's flower has just awoken. Day 40 I had all the souls, so I made a pickaxe axe to mine chlorophyte. Chlorophyte is a new ore available in the jungle. You can only mine it after you defeat the mech bosses. I also made a couple of spelunker potions which are super helpful to mine chlorophyte. And then I went to the jungle. I also got some gold and apples which are similar to life crystals. These will increase my max health by 15 each time I eat one. While mining I found a beehive, so I summoned Queen Bee. And this time she dropped a trophy. Yay! Back at base on day 41, I made the Excalibur aka the End Caliber and then upgraded it to True Excalibur aka the True End Caliber. Afterwards, I again went to the jungle and because I'm an idiot, I thought this was a Plantera bulb. So I made an arena. I drank potions. And when I broke it, those were jungle spores. After the stupid incident, I kept mining and eventually found the real Plantera bulb. Day 42, I built an arena to fight Plantera. I got her to the second phase, but then I died. Back at base, there was a solar eclipse, which is an event similar to the blood moon. But this event has a lot of scary creatures and a ton of movie references. And also good loot. My favorite weapon from the solar eclipse is the Death Sickle. A Reaper has a slight chance to rob this and boy is this the coolest weapon ever. It shoots these sickles which go through walls, so it's perfect to farm enemies. Day 43 I lost the footage of defeating the twins, but here is the trophy. You see, while killing the twins, the last eye that is left drops the trophy, so I left Spasmatism on purpose to get his trophy. I spent the rest of the day in mining chlorophyte and found the jungle temple while exploring. I won't thoink, I promise. Day 44 I made some improvements to my base. First I added planters to set up a potion farm. Secondly, I added a dirt floor to plant pumpkins. I wanted to make this room into a terrarium room or something close to nature. At night, I caught a bunch of fireflies who were just outside my base, waiting to be caught. Day 45, my house was invaded by pirates who were resprited as the piglins. I was so excited to see them in 2D and honestly they look better than 3D. After 70% of the raid was done, the Flying Dutchman spawned and boy, it was literally a whole bastion. Heck yeah. Honestly, this whole invasion was totally unexpected. Hats off to everybody who worked on this. This is absolutely amazing. After the raid, Captain Morgan moved in. So I bought the ocean pylon from him. I spent the rest of the night in some good old fishing. Day 46, I went to look for a Plantera bulb and after finding one, I built an arena and summoned the monster. This time I built the arena a bit bigger, so I had a lot of room to dodge its attacks. The Mega Shark and the Cursed Bullets were super effective and eventually I toasted Plantera. Also, I paused the game to restore my mental health because I was literally going through a mental breakdown. Help me. On day 47, I went to the temple, legally. After reaching the bottom, I added torches. I won't summon the golem just yet. Later, I went to the mushroom biome to get some seeds because I wanted to set up a surface mushroom biome for the truffle NPC to move in. For some reason, the traveling merchant spawned on top of a cloud, so I had to drink a gravitation potion to reach him. I bought the lifeform analyzer and the crimson cloak from him. Also, I stole some rain clouds to add to my base. At home, I made the REK 3000. At night, I set it up a mushroom biome for the truffle NPC. Day 48, I made an AFK farm. You see, events like solar eclipse are perfect for money farming. You get a ton of gold from killing mobs, so I decided to make a lava pool for farming enemies for their loot. Afterwards, I went to the mushroom biome and started to build a base for the pylon system. This time my idea was to make a tower sort of design, so I spent the entire day trying to figure out a design. Day 49, I summoned a solar eclipse and then went AFK in my new farm. After I was done with the solar eclipse, there was a blood moon immediately, so I again spent the entire night farming zombies and TNT jeeters. Yay! Day 50, I finished my base and now it looks something like this. At night, I went to gather materials for my desert pylon base. Day 51, I added a new type of roof which looks kinda good, I don't know. At night, I was done and all the NPCs started to live in their new homes. I also got the mushroom pylon from the clothier. Afterwards, I found wyverns for souls of flight. They're hella scary, not gonna lie. Day 52, I went truffle worm hunting. I had the life form analyzer, so it was pretty easy to find them. Although I did scared off a couple of them, but that's okay. Also, I caught 2 of them from a single swing. I know, I'm a veteran. At night, I made the hoverboy from shoemade bars and the souls of flight. This is my favorite thing, I just love it. Day 53, I again summoned the solar eclipse. This time I wanted a broken hero sword, which is the sword needed to make the Terra Blade. During the solar eclipse, a Motron has a very slight chance to drop these swords. The first 2 I killed didn't drop it, but the third one did. Yeah, day 54 I went to the corruption where I made the Knight's Edge. Back at base at night I upgraded the Knight's Edge to the true Knight's Edge. And then combined all 3 swords to make the Terra Blade. And now I was fully prepared for the golem. I reforged my sword and had no idea what was the best one, so I went with dangerous. Day 55 I went to mine some chlorophyte and then defeated a Plantera once more. This time she dropped the trophy and the pygmy staff, which spawns cute little pygmies that poison enemies to death. I spent the night and the morning of day 56 looking for turtle shells to upgrade my armor to turtle armor. At home, I made a whole set of turtle armor and then went for the golem straight away. I added these wooden blocks to the arena to limit his movement. After preparing, I summoned the golem and the fight was super easy. I used the death sickle for his first phase and once he was in the second phase, I used the Terra Blade and finished him. Afterwards, I farmed 2 more golems to get enough beetle husks for my armor. Day 57, I made a whole set of beetle armor by upgrading the turtle one. I also saw a cute little dolphin. Hello. I spent the entire day preparing for the lunatic cultist. I had no experience with this boss, but I have seen a lot of people defeat him, so I have the knowledge. I was so freaking amazed to see the lunatic cultist as Herobrine. This is the best thing ever done in this resource pack, I'm not gonna lie. The fight was pretty easy, although it was my first time, but I had fun. The best way to defeat the lunatic cultist is to not let the ritual be completed, otherwise a dragon will spawn in and it will make the fight a lot difficult. Just as I killed Herobrine, the celestial pillars had awoken, so I retreated. After doing some research, I went for the Stardust pillar at night. Apparently, from the Stardust fragments, I can make the best summon in the game, so I went for it first. It took centuries to take it out, but eventually I smashed it. On day 58, I made the Stardust Dragon Staff. Yay, Ragupurr! Afterwards, I went for the Solar Pillar, and oh my god, it was so annoying. I kept dying again and again. I think Solar Pillar has to be one of the hardest one. I'm not sure. I was in the mood, so I went for the Vortex Pillar next. And it was super easy as compared to the Solar one. At night, I worked on making an asphalt block platform. I saw a tutorial and they said that asphalt blocks are a must-have to defeat Moonlord. Day 59, I added a couple of critters to my terrarium room. I also replaced the real pumpkins with fake ones because I kept swinging my pickaxe and I kept harvesting them, which was super annoying. At night, I bought this solar cultist robe from the clothier. I don't know, it looks cute. Pause, a huge pause. You see, on day 60, I went to take out the Nebula pillar and after dying a bazillion times, I summoned Moonlord. I was so excited that I didn't realize that I was not recording at the moment, and when I realized, I enabled auto pause and said, no, well it actually is not that big of a problem because I died to the Moonlord. No, I was not happy. I went through all that effort to die in the end, but I knew what was my mistake. So on day 61, I went to the dungeon to get the Paladin Shield, which will be super helpful to increase my defense. On day 62, I again defeated the lunatic cultist, aka Herobrine, and just there the solar pillar spawned, so I killed it and died right after. Day 63 I went for the Vortex pillar and then the Stardust pillar and finally the Nebula pillar. I had Yonka and Scroops by my side and it was finally time to take out Moonlord. I used the Vortex Beater with Chlorophyte bullets to take out his hands first. I also kept shooting the eye on his head because it shoots a laser which does a ton of damage. After I was done with the eyes, I used the Solar Eruption and went for his heart. The core takes a lot of time to take out, but eventually the Moonlord was defeated and he perished. He dropped a sentry and for the first time ever, we have officially defeated Moonlord. We beat the game, yay! This feels amazing, maybe I'm not bad at Terraria at all. Okay, this was a lie. I spent the whole entire night looking at the end credits, and boy it felt good. At night of day 63, I built an arena at the ocean to take out Duke Fishra. I've never defeated him before and I have no experience with him, but I've seen a lot of people and they say that it is harder than Moonlord, so I gotta be serious. On day 64, I summoned Duke Fishron, aka the Guardian of Ocean Temple. Honestly, it was just crazy. He moved so quickly and I kept falling in the tornadoes. He was insanely hard, but I somehow crushed him. At night, I went to look for the Martian probe to spawn in the Martian invasion. You see, to craft the Zenith, we need 10 swords in total. One of them is the Inflex Waver. A Martian sorcerer has a slight chance to drop it. Unfortunately, I didn't get one from my first invasion, so that was bad. At night, I worked on a wardrobe in my base to display my clothes. Day 65 to 68 were totally spent on the treehouse. I added a lot of small details to my home. First, I added some frames in the main hall. I made 3 separate rooms for my pet animals because they don't deserve to live with the pathetic NPCs. I also added some stained glass to this room because I wanted to make this room into a monolith room, which will have all the monoliths. I also added some variations to the critter room, and the best thing I did in these days was to work on a secret wiring project. I also summoned a solar eclipse for this project, so it's important to me. Also at the night of day 68, I killed Herobrine. Day 69 is the day I reveal my secret project. Ladies and gentlemen, behold. I'm speechless in front of this beauty. I love Terraria. I actually wanted to make this before the Moonlord, but I was lazy. I spent the rest of the day in taking out the pillars. On day 70, after slaying the Vortex pillar, I summoned Moonlord to get the 2 swords needed for the Zenith. After absolutely crushing Moonlord, I got the first blade I needed. Back at base, I made a whole set of solar flare armor. Afterwards, I went to look for another Martian probe and got one. And the first sorcerer I killed dropped the Inflex Waver, yay! The second one I killed dropped the launcher, another one. But the third one dropped the Cosmic Car Key. Finally, I can fly with no limitations. This would be super helpful in building, not gonna lie. Also, the fourth one dropped another launcher, stupid. At night, I summoned the Pumpkin Moon. The Pumpkin Moon is an event which has 15 waves. From this event, I can get the orange-colored sword needed for the Zenith. There are 2 event-exclusive bosses, the Morning Wood and the Pumpkin. After I completed the waves, I got what I needed from Pumpkin. Also, the pumpkins went crazy on me. Stop. On day 71, there was a piglin raid, so I took it out. At night, I defeated the Skeletron Prime to get its souls to make the summoning item for the Frost Moon. Day 72, I worked on my base and at night I summoned the Frost Moon. The Frost Moon is an event similar to the Pumpkin one but a lot harder. Sadly, I couldn't complete the event because the day ended. Day 73, I took out the Lunatic Cultist and got this trophy. Afterwards, I took out all 4 pillars and at night I summoned Moonlord. This time from the Moonlord, I got the Meow Mirror. I was so happy. I went back home at once to craft the Zenith. But while gathering all the swords, I realized I was missing on one sword, which was the Seedler. So I went to the jungle to kill Plantera. Plantera has a slight chance to drop this sword. I killed a total of 4 Planteras to get the Seedler, and the 4th one dropped it, so that was cool. On day 71, I finally had all the swords to make the Zenith. This feels good. After making the Zenith, I crushed the living daylights out of the lunatic cultists. Later, I thought of summoning the Old One's army, which is the 3rd and final event similar to the Pumpkin and the Frost Moon. This event has a total of 7 waves and has 3 event-exclusive bosses, the Mage, Ogre, and Betsy. I was expecting Betsy to be the Ender Dragon, but it seems that they didn't work on events yet. Maybe in the future we will have Betsy as Ender Dragon, who knows? At night I completed my wardrobe and I absolutely love it. Let me know about your thoughts in the comments. Day 76 I made the Goblin stack and then spent the entire day messing around with the portal gun because why not? At night I again summoned the Frost Moon, and because this time I had the Zenith, I absolutely annihilated the Frost Moon. Day 77, it was the day of Christmas, so I summoned the Pirate Invasion from a map I had lying around to get presents. After getting the Snow Globe, I summoned Frost Legion to get Santa to move in, but sadly he didn't. I was not happy, so I spent the night making a Sakura garden to overcome the disappointment. I bought pink paint from the painter and also defeated a pillar while leaving. Day 78, I again defeated Moonlord, and this time he dropped his head. Later, I added all 5 monoliths to the monolith room. My favorite one is the Luminite one, it looks cool. Ha! I spent the rest of the day on the garden and at night I finished. Day 79 I wandered around a bit and then slept on my comfy bed. Day 80 I took some screenshots for my thumbnail and at night I summoned the Empress of Light. I had these summoning items lying around so I just fought her. She looks mildly infuriating, not gonna lie. The fight was pretty easy because I had the Zenith. Also, she dropped a guitar which shoots stars, which looks pretty cool. I don't know, it's just awesome. Days 81 and 82 were spent in the search of frozen chests to get the ice skates because I wanted to make the best boots in the game. Unfortunately, I didn't find them. In between, I also found the Stylist NPC, which means the princess can now move in. Day 83 was a solar eclipse, so I went to AFK. At night, I summoned a Blood Moon using a Bloody Tear and fished the entire night to try and summon the Dread Nautilus, but had no luck. Day 84, I went to the jungle to do the Angler's quest. You see, to make the Self Rune, I need 3 items which are only obtainable by completing Angler quest, so even though I hate him, I have to get fish for him. Also, he gave me the first item I needed, that was cool. I spent the rest of the day in purifying my world using the Contaminator. At night, again, I summoned the Blood Moon using the Bloody Tear. Then I fished. I caught the hemoglobin shark and it dropped some chum buckets which will increase the spawn rate. And eventually I caught the Dread Nautilus. He looks freaky. Also he dropped the Blood Moon monolith. Day 85 I went to the caverns to do the Angler's quest. I was rewarded by crate potions which are kinda useless, not gonna lie. I spent the rest of the day in building a structure to display my fish. Initially I was going for an aquarium sort of design, but then I figured I wanted a jar instead because jars are cool. I don't know. I think I'll call you the jar of fish. I used item frames to display the fish. Day 86 I made a little room in the graveyard for the Dryad because I wanted to buy the Crimson Seeds to set up a Crimson biome to get the Brain of Cthulhu's trophy. Afterwards I fished in the Snow biome to try and get my hands on the Frost Gates. And got 'em. Back at base I made the Frostpark boots and the Lava Raiders and then combined both of them to make the Terraspark boots. I feel like Flash. At night I worked on my hollowed pylon base. Day 87 I did the Angler's quest and he gave me the fuzzy carrot which spawns a giant rideable bunny. What is wrong with this game? I spent the rest of the day in building a candy cane base. Day 88 was entirely spent in looking for a variety of fish for the jar of fish. Day 89 I finally completed the hollowed base and it looks something like this. Also I summoned Daytime Empress of Light. Excuse me? What? Afterwards I did the Angler's quest to catch the zombie fish. And he rewarded me with this dumbass costume. I look kinda fishy. I also decorated the jar by adding these crystal planters that I bought from the princess. Love potion, throw this to make someone fall in love. This was supposed to be a kid's game. What does that do? If you guys know, tell me in the comments please. Day 90, I went to catch the batfish for the angler and this time he gave me the second item I needed, which means we are only one item away to craft the self wound. I spent the entire day in the search of vertebrates at the Crimson biome. Day 91 was a solar eclipse again, but instead of going AFK, I decided to fish at the ocean. Day 92, I finally had enough vertebrates to make the summoning item for the Brain of Cthulhu. Also, I got the trophy on my first try, which was kinda unbelievable to be honest. Afterwards, I used the contaminator to take out the corruption. Day 93, I did the angler's quest of catching the slime fish and he gave me his pathetic hat. Also, I got this giant turtle from a crate. I spent the night in playing some golf in the new golf course I just made. Day 94, I went to the caverns to get the bonefish for the angler. What am I supposed to do with your earrings? Afterwards, I bought a bunch of fireworks from the party girl and then set it up a fireworks show for the final day to celebrate our journey. I also built a branch on my tree because I wanted to add a beehive to my base. I went to the jungle to get some materials and at night I built a cozy little beehive. At night of day 94, I summoned the Torch God. The Torch God is an Easter egg. It can be activated by placing 100 torches together. You just gotta dodge its attacks to beat it. Afterwards, I messed around with the Torch God's Favor, which is an item that allows you to place biome-specific torches. Day 95, I built a shrine to honor the Torch God, because why not? I also did the angler's quest of catching the mirage fish, and then continued my build. Day 96, I completed the shrine and also added this Moonlord frame I got from the traveling merchant. Afterwards, there was a solar eclipse again, so I fished at different locations to complete the jar of fish. Day 97, I forgot to turn on the recording. I actually built this huge statue of my character, which looks epic in my opinion. I used obsidian bricks for the body, ash blocks for the cloak, and wood for the hair. I'm legit proud of this. Plus, the map view looks amazing. At night, I caught the dovefish and the idiot gave me worthless stuff. I spent the entire night looking at the bestiary. Day 98, the angler requested for a hunger fish caught in the caverns. Whee! Afterwards, I wanted to kill the Moonlord one more time for the trophy, but sadly still didn't got it. Day 99, I did the angler's quest of catching the gemfish. Thanks. Afterwards, I gathered some stone and made some statues in the honor of 100 days. I spent the night getting pooped. Ha! Day 100. I did the angler's quest one last time to get the final item for the self wound. Fishing potions. Interesting. Oh, someone please call the ambulance. Evans, I wish I could help you. Psych, stupid angler. Afterwards, I took screenshots of my world to make a montage of everything I've built throughout the journey. Enjoy! And these were my 100 days in Minecraft Terraria. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun in making it and reliving the game once more. The amount of things I've accomplished is just mind-blowing because I suck at Terraria. Smash like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.